equalizer.
That's right. Got plenty of.
Well, good evening. And so it begins again. We're struggling here just a little bit with the connection, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But we're going to stick with it here as long as we can and see what we come up with. So, how is everybody doing tonight? Wonderful, I hope. Let's see. Thomas Schmidt Homestead Project. Duncan 1900, Grandma Rose. And I know there's more people in here. I just can't see them on the screen from where I'm at right now. So,
Maniac Grammy's Homestead is there. Carrie Hyatt. I haven't seen Maniac Grammy's Homestead for a while.
So did everybody get some videos out this past week?
Ginger's saying that you have an echo.
I have an echo.
That's what she's saying.
I have an echo. Where do I have an echo? I have an echo. Is it a good echo or a bad echo? Okay, is that any better? Two-Seaters Microfarm. What's up? Not sure what's up. We're here to do a little bit of experimentation and play around with the...
Yeah, it's better.
It's better. Okay. All right. Well, I had on the thumbnail to talk about freeze frames.
Isn't that a song?
Yes, it is a song.
From our kids' era. Funny how I thought of that.
Now, who was it that did that?
I didn't know that I had it figured out.
Freeze frame. Can't remember who the group was that did that.
Jay Giles Band.
Jay Giles. So, yeah, that was a pretty popular song. You don't have an apple for me? Oh, that's okay. Let me bring some more up over here. There we go. So let's something else we can talk about is wind noise. So let me get a couple video files in here.
Finite World says you prefer PCs, not apples. Touche. That was good. Milwaukee. She's gonna go see Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley
in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Other places.
I've got some clips here that we took in Michigan over the weekend. As you all probably are aware, we went to the... Is it just called the Hootenanny or the Michigan Hootenanny?
Michigan Hootenanny.
Michigan Hootenanny, put on by Pratt Family Homestead, and it was outside. It was in a beautiful campground. We had our granddaughters with us, but one problem that presented itself being outside and all this was there was a fair amount of wind. I mean, it wasn't gale force, but it was a fair amount of wind, and obviously even with a windscreen on top of a microphone, it can detract from your videos. So let's just take a look at this first clip. Well, let me do it this way. It's not very long, but I think you'll be able to I want to make sure that I can hear. All right.
These inspirations, can you recommend resources for starting a channel from scratch?
Peaceful inspirations. When you say resources for starting a channel from scratch, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there. Are you talking about equipment to have, or are you talking about ideas or...
Peaceful inspirations, the first thing I would do personally is put some information in the about section, because that's the first thing I look at when I see a new channel or an older channel but new to me. I go to their about page.
And that's that's also that's a real good idea when you start your channel. You have the option to fill in a number of places for information. And if somebody wants to subscribe to you, that's one of the first things they do is they look at what you're about a little bit. You might want to put together some sort of a introductory video. Get it spit out here sooner or later.
And if they are talking about equipment wise, I think when we first started doing YouTube, it was just our phones.
It was.
Yeah, we didn't have extra cameras or extra monitors or the little things to hold, tripods and all that wonderful. Yeah, camera, how to upload video from camera to computer. Thought that might be what it was. Back when we started, YouTube had their own video editing software, free to anybody to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was what prompted the start of this Tuesday night live stream, was when they took that away.
Yeah.
People were saying, what can I do now? Because a lot of software programs are very expensive. You can get hundreds of dollars tied up in software, and it's not necessary. So I did a lot of looking at a lot of different packages, and one name that kept coming up, even with all the big players, was Filmora, Wondershare Filmora. And it is a program that you have to buy. It's not free, but it's like $60 to own it forever. I think it's $59.95 or $59.99. I don't know what it is, but it's about $60. And while that does sound like a lot of money, that's one tank of gas in my truck. And that's how I equate that. And that's why I think it's very affordable. There's a lot of big name YouTubers that use Filmora. It's very intuitive, it's easy to use, it's not hard on your computer. You don't have to have a lot of horsepower to run it. Now, obviously, if you have a more stout computer, it'll process videos faster, and it makes for a little bit more pleasurable experience. But you don't have to have the latest, greatest stuff to do it. So this is the reason why we went with Filmora. We certainly recommend you give it some serious consideration. And say it, and then if you've used it for a year or 2 years and decide you want more advanced features, well, you haven't really lost much of anything, because it's a great stepping stone. The way the program is laid out, with the timelines, different ways you edit, is very, very similar, if not, well, it's virtually identical to a lot of very expensive programs. So it's a pretty good program. Does not have all the bells and whistles of an Adobe program or Cyberlink, Sony Vegas. But at that point, you're looking at a lot more money, and you can do a lot with this program. So anyway, what I have here is about a 1 minute clip, and I'll play a little bit more of it here. And you can just kind of hear the hum noise in the background. You can just hear the wind.
USB and YouTube for dummies. Thomas is saying you're the professor of Filmora. Nina, Southern Art, calls him Mr. Miyagi.
Okay. Peaceful inspiration. Yes, that is the way that I transfer my files from a phone. I also know that there is I don't own one, but there is a iPhone thumbnail device that plugs into your iPhone. It works like a thumb drive, and you can put your pictures on that, and then it will plug into the computer, and you can take pictures off of it that way. So it's a combination. What do they call that connection on an iPhone? Lightning plug. It's a combination lightning plug USB device. And I've seen that advertised, but I don't have one. I just plug mine directly into the computer. I run Windows 10. Windows 10 has a program that will import the videos for you. It'll allow you to look inside the phone and download them from your phone. It'll either copy them or move them. So, yes, through a USB connection is the easiest way to do that. If you're using and let me pull this back up. If you're using a camera that utilizes a flash drive or SD card or 100 other different names, you might call it. A lot of computers have a reader built into them where you can simply plug this in the computer. Barring that, you can also get a USB device that will read those cards. And this is kind of a combination device. It's got USB ports across the top. It's got for the micro SD and the full-size SD card and some additional connections that will read all that. So from our camcorder, it records directly onto the SD card, which I then put in a reader, and I just copy the files and put them on a computer to work with. Okay, that's the easiest way to move them. Just take it out. There are cameras that have a Wi-Fi setup where you can transfer those files via Wi-Fi. That's usually much slower than just taking an SD card out of the camera and putting it in a reader and manually moving them. But either way will work. You just want to get the files onto your hard drive to work with. Now, one of the problems you'll encounter is all of a sudden you're going to start getting a lot of files, and they can become sizable depending upon, well, there's a lot of different things that would depend upon, but if you're running full HD, that would be 1920 by 1080. Those files are bigger than just high definition, which is your 720p format. And then 4K is huge. So 4K files, not only are they huge files, they take up a lot of room. It takes a lot more to process that, to find something else to do with them, to store them, because you're probably going to want to keep some of these files. Another nice thing about Filmora, and I don't know of any program that destroys the raw file, but Filmora definitely does not destroy the raw file. You can do whatever you need to do to edit your video, and you haven't hurt the original file at all. So let me go back and bring this back up. And in this little clip, I guess you've all heard the noise behind it. So let's go into the audio part. And all I did to bring up the editing program was I double clicked on this file. And although it's not perfect, they have a denoise feature for the audio portion of the file. And it says remove background noise. So I'll click that and let's play a little bit, hear what it did. Okay, I'll turn that filter back off just so you can hear the difference. Hi, Grizz. So you can hear I think, a huge difference between turning this on and off. And this is set on the lowest setting. Let me bring that up to a little bit stronger. And that has removed a tremendous amount of the background. The stronger setting you use on this, the more you're probably going to have to add some sound back in through the equalizer, because it's a filter, it's a built-in filter, and it cuts out the typical noise range. Of course, if you're doing it real strong, that also destroys, I shouldn't say destroy, it alters voice sounds or other sounds that you may wish to hear. So you may have to try to bring some of those back in with the equalizer by going into that and increasing different ranges for that to work with. Once I say OK, it changes the file here. So I haven't. Well, and I'll go ahead and do that. We'll say OK. So now when we play this, start back over. It has all that off. But Filmora also has a backup function. So I can undo it by simply clicking on the reverse arrow. And it puts the noise back in. Actually, what there we go. There's your win. As far as I know, they do. Let's just take a quick peek here.
And then Grandma Rose wants to know, where is the equalizer?
All right, we'll get the equalizer back up here in just a moment. All right, if we go into buy now. Okay. The lifetime ownership for Filmora is $59.99. It's a one-time fee. You get all the features, you get all the free updates, there's no watermark, you get free tech support. $59.99, and that is a deal. Now, you can download the program to try it. It will insert a watermark in your product, but it has all the features. You can try it, you can see how it works, and experiment with it for no charge. So that's a free download. And actually, once you have that and you can buy this, you put in a registration number. They have it for Windows, they have it for Mac. They have Filmora Go, which is for phones. Of course, you can get that on the App Store or Google Play. It doesn't cost anything. It is free. So if you want to give it a shot as far as doing it on your phone, here is a free program to edit. I can't work with things that small.
Thomas says it's a big watermark.
It is a big watermark. Yeah, it is. But there's some other programs that do the same thing. So another good product that they have is this screen recording tool. And that's if you want to record off your screen. And to purchase that, lifetime license is $30. Unless you have a specific need for that, I don't recommend you do it. But if you want to do it, it's a very robust program for $30 forever. So they do have email support. I have used it, I've tested it, and it's pretty good. And I saw when I started it up tonight that they just came out with an update, and I have not updated mine yet. I will do that a little bit later here this evening. So over 5 million happy users, 770 reviews. It's a good program, folks. That's pretty much all I can say about it. If you decide that you want to edit the audio in a video separate from the video, very easy to do. Just do a right click and you go audio detach. So now the audio is gone from the video. There's two separate pieces here, and you can work on just the audio portion of the file. You see the exact same thing as you saw before when it was attached, but now there's no option to go back to the video because it's 100% audio. Whereas this gives you all your video functions. There's a giveaway today on YouTube celebrating 200,000 subscribers. Well, that's not us. Thomas, if you did a video with the free version, if you saved the project, saved it as something else, and if you buy the license, You can go to that free version. You can enter the registration codes, open up that project, remake it, because everything's the same as what it was before, and just republish it if you would, and the watermark will be gone with absolutely no other changes. TJ's Woodworking Shop, good evening. Okay, I wanted to talk about freeze frame, and there's a couple of different ways to do that. Filmora has made it very, very simple. Let's I'll throw this video in, and we'll just kind of work on editing this video. This was just as the Hootenanny was getting started, so there's not a lot of people there yet, and frequently what I do in an event like this, if I try to get a few people to talk on the camera, is I don't turn off the camera, but I don't really point it at them unless they know that I'm filming them. So you'll see a lot of shots where it's just looking down at the ground, whereas I'm walking around, because I carry the camera in my hand, and I have found that if I stop the video and then go to restart the video, a lot of times I miss what I want to capture on the thing. So I leave it run, because I get over 2 hours record time on the battery, so I just leave it run. So let's play a little bit of this, and let's just do some real quick rough editing on this and see where we're at.
Food, a couple cupcakes, like 5 dozen.
Just a cup.
Good.
Okay, right over
This is
here.
my husband Chuck.
How you doing, Chuck?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Who we got here?
Who we got here?
Who we got
People
here?
from Ohio.
More people. They're from Ohio.
From Ohio.
2-family homestead.
Ohio?
Swanton, Ohio.
I know we're Swanton is.
Yeah.
Well, Mansfield.
Oh, you're farther than us. Mansfield?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
Good.
Mansfield? Oh, we are Cincinnati.
This is a whole,
You out of
whole
Cincinnati?
Ohio plan right here.
Cincinnati.
My son
Cincinnati.
is down in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Y'all got a channel?
No, I haven't.
I don't either.
You don't either.
No.
So you're viewers.
We are viewers.
He's
Well-
very active in our Facebook group, and all the meat smoking and
If you,
fermenting, and that guy's awesome.
yeah.
Okay. At this point in this video, I'm just going to want to freeze it right where it is. With Filmora, you can just stop the video, do a right click, and click the little tab that says freeze frame. What that does is it slices the video. It makes a picture, a JPEG file that's 5 seconds long, and puts it in the video. So I'm going to back the time up just a little bit. We'll play this.
And fermenting, and that guy's awesome.
Yeah. If you let me talk about this, I mean, I will.
Yeah.
It's
I will type at least.
TJ?
How are you, TJ? I'm Kathy. You also?
Charlie.
This is Chuck.
Or Charlie.
How you doing?
Well, it's very nice to meet y'all. I'm
You
Daryl.
also. Thank you.
Daryl.
I'm
How you
Kathy.
doing?
That's
Kathy?
his wife.
So,
Daryl, yes.
nice to meet you. And with your channel is Two Family Upstairs.
2-family homestead, yeah.
I'm a subscriber.
Let me just make a real quick comment here. These tables that you see here in the background were overflowing with food. Once this shindig got started, it was just unbelievable. They had food in containers on the ground underneath the tables because there wasn't enough room on the tables. Mike grilled up over 200 hot dogs. And yeah, there was some left over, but not a huge amount. So it was a very enjoyable weekend. I just kind of wanted to make note of that.
I love you also. not a regular one.
She watched She said she would give us some.
All right. Let me slice the video right here. We're just going to cut it. I'm going to go back to...
How you doing?
Well, it's very nice to meet y'all. I'm Daryl.
You also. Thank you.
Daryl.
I'm
How you
Kathy.
doing?
Kathy?
Daryl.
Daryl, yes.
Nice to meet you. And with your channel is Two Family Upstairs.
Two family homestead, yeah. And I'm going to cut it right here. And I'm going to take this part of walking around and just remove it. I'm just hitting the, well, I'll do it so everybody can see. I'll do a right click on it and delete. You can just hit the delete key if you like to do that faster. So now, very nice to meet y'all. I'm Daryl.
You also. Thank you.
Daryl.
I'm
How you
Kathy.
doing?
Kathy?
Daryl.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. And with your channel is Two Family Upstairs.
Two family homestead, yeah. All right, for the record.
Lois Ann there.
Okay, so it's a pretty sharp jump between the two, but it really doesn't look bad.
Family Upstairs.
Two family homestead, yeah. All right, for the record.
Lois Ann Therapy Garden.
So there's some different things you can do to soften that. You can put a transition in. And I'm just going to grab one here. Family homestead, yeah. All right, for the record.
Lois Ann Therapy Gardening.
There we are.
And my husband Kyle.
I'm Lois.
He's a sidekick.
Okay.
And your name?
Eric White from the Little White House, and we also do Planting Seeds for Life, but we haven't done that channel too much lately because we had to go back and take over our channel. And you are?
I'm Daryl with Two Family Homestead.
Hold on.
And we're videoing each other.
Yeah, we're videoing each other. This is Daryl
What
from
YouTubers do.
Yeah.
especially when they're having a hootenanny.
Yes.
Thanks.
So now we're going to start walking again here. So I'll cut it.
Hi. Hi.
And over here we have the ice cream supervisor. We'll cut it again here. Remove the walking.
That's right. Got plenty of volunteers who want to eat ice cream afterwards.
Great. So tell everybody who you are.
I'm Homestead Dad, Jeff the Homestead Dad, and we're using a Cottage Craftworks 6-quart hand crank ice cream maker.
All right.
So we've been very pleased with it. It works really well.
Great.
So and at a place like this, you got plenty of volunteers to crank it for you.
What's your name?
Brett?
Brett?
Yes.
Are you getting tired yet?
No.
Keep at it.
Who are your parents?
You guys are from Holler Homestead?
There we go.
How you been?
Okay,
All
now
right.
Jeff.
Okay. It's right where Lois Ann comes in there. We're going to cut that out. Go back a little bit further.
Dollar Homestead?
There we go.
Negative end.
Okay, now, Jeff,
Oh yeah. So Boo and Chinese.
Okay, so we'll just delete that off the end here. We'll cut a little bit of this off the beginning. I used the blind transition before. I use that again here at this back split. I'm going to take this picture that I took out of the file. I'm going to move it to the beginning. And I'm going to do that so I can put a title in this. So we'll go into titles, and we'll go obviously I want to change the color, make it stand out a little better. Hootenanny is A-N-N-Y?
Hootenanny.
I'll make that black as well. Third line I'm just going to delete. Okay, so now we put together a very short video with a title.
A couple cupcakes, like 5 dozen.
And let's fix that title just a little bit more, because it's very difficult to see. So we're going to put a border around it. That should make it stand out a little better.
Excuse me.
A couple cupcakes, like 5 dozen.
Just cup.
Good.
Okay, right.
Okay, let's take this beginning, because it's only 5 seconds. I've highlighted the JPEG. I'm going to set the duration. I'm going to change it to 10 seconds. The title, I'm also going to set that to 10 seconds. This 5 goes by very quickly. And I want to add, let me just see what this sounds like. That'll work. We'll bring some sound down here. And I'm going to want the sound to fade out at the end of this 10 seconds. And I want it to go away after that. So right at the end of the first 10 seconds, I have a cut. If I highlight the second thing in, it brings the timeline right to that. I can highlight the soundtrack and cut it and delete the back part. for the sound itself. I'll double click on that and I will say do a fade out over the course of approximately a second. We'll say okay. So now let's see what it looks like.
A couple cupcakes, like 5 dozen.
Just cup.
Good.
Okay, right over
This is
here.
my husband Chuck.
How you doing, Chuck?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Who we got here?
Who we got here?
Who we got
People
here?
from Ohio.
More people. They're from Ohio.
From Ohio.
Two-family
Swanton,
homestead.
Ohio?
Swanton, Ohio?
I know where Swanton is.
Yeah.
Well, Mansfield.
Oh, you're farther than us. Mansfield?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mansfield? Oh, we are Cincinnati.
This is a whole,
You out of
whole
Cincinnati?
Ohio plan right
Cincinnati.
here.
My son
Cincinnati.
is down in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, you on that channel?
No, I haven't.
I don't either. You don't either?
No.
So you're viewers. We are viewers.
He's very active in our Facebook group and all the meat smoking and fermenting, and that guy's awesome.
Yeah, if you let me talk about this, I mean, I will.
Yeah, yeah.
I will type at least.
How are you, TJ? I'm Kathy. You also?
Charlie.
This is Chuck.
How you doing?
Well, it's very nice to meet you. I'm
You
Daryl.
also. Thank you.
Daryl.
I'm
How you
Kathy.
doing?
Kathy? Daryl, yes. Nice to meet you. And with your channel is Two Family Homestead. Two Family Homestead, yeah. All right, for the record,
Lois Ann Therapy Gardening.
there we are.
And my husband Kyle.
Lois.
He's a sidekick.
You're still getting.
Okay.
And your name?
Eric White from the Little White House, and we also do planting seeds for life, but we haven't done that channel too much lately because we had to go back and take over our channel. And you are?
I'm Daryl with Two Family Homestead.
Hold on.
And we are videoing each other.
Yeah, we're videoing each other. This is Daryl.
That's what YouTubers do.
Yeah.
Especially when they're having a hootenanny.
Yes.
Thanks.
That's right. Got plenty of volunteers who want to eat ice cream afterwards.
Great. So tell everybody who you are.
I'm Homestead Dad, Jeff the Homestead Dad, and we're using a Cottage Craftworks 6-quart hand crank ice cream maker.
All right.
So we've been very pleased with it. It works really well.
Great.
So and
this
at a
is
place
the
like
work-
this, you got plenty of volunteers that are cranking for you.
What's your name?
Brett?
Brett?
Yes.
Are you getting tired yet?
No.
Keep at it.
Who are your parents?
Okay, so you can see we've chopped a lot of the fluff out of the video there. Let's talk about the end of it real quick. YouTube gives you the option to put cards at the end of your video. They'll utilize the last 20 seconds of the video for you to use this feature that they provide, where you can put in a link to a channel, a link to another video that you've created, a link to a playlist, or a link to an approved website. And just so you all know, Two Family Homestead has a website now. So, and it's been approved. We're on there. So anyway, I'm sure you've all seen the videos where they have at the end, you know,
Can you make the transition last longer?
yes. And I'll get to the transition length here in just a moment. Let me kind of finish what I'm doing here. I have the timeline set very closer to the end of the video. And if I go in and I do freeze frame, it will create that picture. Now the reason I'm spreading this out is because it's almost impossible to have it right on the last frame. So if I spread this out where you can get into seeing individual frames, you will see that there's still a little bit of video left here at the very end of this picture that lasts for 5 seconds. So I'm going to get rid of it. We'll delete that. I'm going to set the duration of this last picture to 20 seconds. Squeeze this all back up so you can see everything again. Throw some music down over here. And we want to cut that, delete the end of it. And I'm going to put a transition right at the very end of a, just going to do a fade. All right, you've asked about changing the length of the transition. If you double click on the transition, here's different things you can do with the transition. You can change the length. You can have it overlap the two sections, which is the way I use it most of the time. You can also have a prefix or postfix. You can put it on one side of the split or the other. If there's not enough media, you can use trim frames or use repeat frames. And if you want to increase the transition, it's currently set at 2 seconds. So I'm going to set it to 4 seconds so you can mark difference. And I'm going to say apply to all, and that'll change all of the transitions to 4 seconds. So they're all uniform. So now,
Two-family homestead, yeah. All right, for the record,
Lois Ann Therapy Gardening.
there we are.
And my husband Kyle.
I'm with Lois.
He's a
and we'll put it over here. Catch this one.
Thanks.
That's right. Got plenty of volunteers who want to eat ice cream out.
And of course, we'll set it here at the end.
Keep at it.
Who are your parents?
So that's how you very quickly go through and rough edit a video. At this point, you can go a lot deeper. You can fine tune it if you want, or you can be happy with it the way it is. You can change your transitions to make a different transition. Just pull a different one down and put it right over top of. You put it on this one. It just replaces that. So it'll now look like this.
Two-family homestead, yeah. All right, for the record,
Lois Ann Therapy Gardening.
there we are.
Put this one on.
Two-family homestead, yeah. All right, for the record,
Lois Ann Therapy Gardening.
there we are.
And my husband.
Grizz, why you want a white belt? I thought you'd probably want to get a black belt. I just glanced up and saw his. So, Thomas Schmidt, are you good with seeing how you make the transition last longer? Simply double click on the transition and it brings up where you can edit that transition. if you want to get into finer detail on this, if you hold your mouse over top of the timeline to where it changes into the bar.
Yes, he said yes.
And I'm making a circle around my mouse pointer here. Push down your left key unless you've changed your mouse or you're a left-handed person and changed it, but by default, push down your left key and you can just increase the length of the videos. Now what you're doing is you're spreading this out to the point that you can actually go frame by frame by frame. You can go in and see every frame. So now, when we play this, you can watch how fast the pointer moves. And to shrink it back, the easiest place to do that is right here, the little box with the 2 arrows on it, and that will display your whole video within your screen. Now let's go one step further. Let's put an overlay of some type over the beginning here. And we'll set that to the same time as the JPEG. So now, instead of just being the plain background, when we play this,
A couple cupcakes, like 5 dozen.
and that just adds a little bit of softness to the background. It makes it just a little bit more interesting. There are tons of these. So you can do the same thing over the end. We'll go with something a little bit different. Okay, we'll drop a lens flare in here. And we'll also bring a second effect over top of that.
Tired yet?
No.
Keep at it.
Who are your parents?
let's I'm doing this because I've already made it up. See what it looks like. That'll be fine. We'll say, okay, I won't have to change anything.
Keep at it.
Who are your parents?
Okay, so you know what? It's after 9 o'clock. I'm getting looked at like
Retired prepping is now wanting homemade ice cream.
Well, we don't have it here.
Well, it was in the video.
Yeah. That and that young fellow was from Holler Homestead.
Oh, I thought that was Homestead Dad's.
No,
son.
no, that was that young fellow was from Holler Homestead, and they were there from California, I guess.
Well, that's
sort
where
of
they started out.
That's where they started.
They're just like out of Goshen. They sold their house, but I don't know if they're looking specifically for a homestead elsewhere.
I don't know.
Whatever.
So, I'm hoping that what we kind of looked at here tonight maybe gave you all some ideas, maybe helped you see how some different things were done with the program. And is there any questions about anything we did or messed with? Bluebell model.
Ice cream maker. Retired prepping situation.
Okay, he's talking about an ice cream maker.
Yes.
I have no idea what he was talking about.
Yes, Rusty, that chair has a face. And it even plays music. June wants to know if next week if you can do adding music.
Okay, we can do that. We even did that tonight a little bit. Because we put some music in this. Now, if this is the way that you decide that you want your video, what you need to do is you need to export it. And give it a name.
Did you want one for Christmas, Rusty?
Wherever you decide that you would like to put the video, just drop it in there. Gave it the name of Hootenanny. Unless you have a very, very specific reason, always use an MP4 format. Go into the settings and go best. Get the best settings you can. All the defaults are fine. Just go in and make sure it's best. Default is only better. Go in and get the best settings. Because I recommend you just put this on your hard drive. So you get it set up with the name. The name doesn't matter as long as you know what it is. It gives you the size, it tells you how long it is. It's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And when you click export, it converts it into your video. It'll be on your hard drive where you told it to be. And at that point you can go, and I didn't realize I didn't have this over there, so let me bring this over. Hit cancel on this. Yes. Okay, so just to recap, you give it a name. I'll start over so everybody can see. You click export. You give it a name and you save it to a directory of your choice, and you can just search for that in this fashion. I had already done that, so it's in the video thing. For settings, make sure you use the best. By default, it gives you the better quality. Go for the best quality. Say OK. And use the MP4. You can create an MOV file or any of these other types of files, but unless you have a specific reason to do that, just create an MP4 file. You will save yourself headaches. You can output this directly to YouTube. You can output it directly to a phone. You can output it directly to Facebook or Vimeo. I'm not sure what this one is. I recommend you just put it on your hard drive and then do with the file whatever you want to do. Click export and it will create the movie. So, with that, who we having on next Monday night?
WT Farm Girl.
WT Farm Girl is going to be our guest next Monday night. We had a great show last night with Cherish.
Yes, it was.
And
last minute, she was there for us.
And I look for next week to be a very good show. WT Farm Girl has become pretty popular.
Then August 20th will be Doug and Stacy. After the HOA, we will have Amy, Jan Gorman. I think hers was the chicken book that just came out, and Amy had the herbs book. And my mind's a blank. There's a third one that is doing stuff with the HOA that she's going to be a guest after that. So we have openings. If anyone wants to be a guest, let us know.
I don't think we have any openings till September, though.
Yes, September 10th is taken.
September 3rd is our first opening.
September 3rd, right.
Now, as far as two weeks, we will be in Missouri. Depending upon what happens, we obviously don't know. We're going to be staying at a campground in Missouri there. If we come up with somebody that is at Off Grid with Doug and Stacy's meetup that's also staying at the campground that has a channel and wants to do a live show, and if the internet is strong enough, we will maybe do a live show. So I'll try to keep you guys updated. We'll kind of keep you posted, and we'll remind you again here next week. So we really just don't know what's happened yet. But look for a lot more videos to start coming out. Sherry's going to start on the have you named it or anything? But it has to do with the cooking, the cookbook for the...
No, in fact, maybe we'll have some sort of contest for that. That may be a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any suggestions, please feel free to write. If you got any questions on the editing, best way to get a hold of me is twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Sherry checks that email every day. If you put it into the Facebook application, it may or may not appear, and if it appears, it may or may not ever be found again. So, I mean, if they have a question. So, recommend you put it in an email, twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Anything else? Folks? Yes, that's it.
June, feel better, and I will email you.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Take care.